Welcome, everybody. Ooh. Nobody's watching quite yet, but I figured I would just come in here and chill for a few minutes until we can kind of get a few people in, because I'd like to just do some open discussions, but also have a few other topics for today. Like, I know one of the big ones that I'm wanting to chat about is VR. Because I was having a discussion with my buddy this morning about it, but I'd also like to discuss a little bit about the current state of MMO gaming, because I think it's at a very interesting flux right now. In fact, I'm just going to I'm gonna hold off and see if I can't get a few people in the chat to help lead along with this discussion. But I did dive into an MMO recently. I did dive into an MMO recently, and I don't typically play a lot of MMOs, but I recently decided to dive back into that world because about a year ago, I played for maybe about a week or two of Final Fantasy XIV. I think I got a little bit overwhelmed in that community, but I also didn't enjoy the chat system as much as I did in Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, which is the game that I'm currently playing, because I know that this is a silly reason. This is a very silly reason to be very into an MMO, but I love the chat bubbles. I love that instead of just having the chat box to the side, when the characters talk, it comes up like chat bubbles, because I'm very well aware that we're not going to get full on proximity chat typically in an MMO, which is what I would kind of love to see, but I understand that a lot of the time MMOs are much more condensed, so you're not gonna get if you try to do proximity chat and say something like, you know, Phantasy Star, WoW, you know, any of these types of things, you'd end up in the central hubs and it would just be too many people. So I understand why. So I think that a good alternative to that is having the chat bubbles that pop up next to the characters' heads, just because it does give you a connection that just having the chat box on the side, I don't think typically gives in a normal MMO. Now, if we're looking at other games though, like Grand Theft Auto Roleplay, which is FiveM, or RedM for those that prefer Red Dead Redemption, which is someone like me, it's really interesting to see how proximity chat shapes those types of games. But yeah, we'll see if we get anybody else coming up in the chat before I start really going and doing some deep dives into these specific topics, because like I said, I would like to go and record them and convert them over to like YouTube discussions of some sort. But I figured, why not come on here and have a nice little discussion with people, as opposed to just coming on here and playing a game like I normally do. I want to start doing more discussions like I do for my Thursday podcast. So I'm thinking if I can start getting this to be more of a thing, maybe I could start having Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, like early day discussions, you know, maybe have some like one or two good discussions on it and go and convert those over to like other video content of some sort. But we'll see. But I'm experimenting a lot right now with a lot of the type of content that I'm trying to push out, just because I feel like I'm still trying to find my place. You know, like that's the hardest thing with kind of jumping into here, trying to do the content creation thing, is kind of finding the place that I fit in. Because I went with the inner geekdom simply because I enjoy a wide diversity of different types of nerddoms. I am huge into anime. I'm huge into video games. I enjoy reading my comic books. I enjoy reading my manga. I enjoy my 3D editing. There's a lot that I enjoy doing. It's really difficult to try and contain myself to one specific thing that I would want to talk about here on all these different platforms. We'll see what happens. so far, we'll see. We'll see. What we got going on over here on the Threads? I've been enjoying the Threads app. Okay. Well, we'll go on the 10-minute mark. At the 10-minute mark, I'm gonna start monologuing. So if I start monologuing, that means I'm probably recording. So just get ready for that. Okay. What we'll do is we will go over here and we'll turn this down just a wee bit. Yeah, y'all still get some sound, but I don't want to be overpowered. Well, hello there. Dave Youngster recently got a job in Gaming Lounge and was playing this at work today. Oh, goodness. Did I just get... Oh, cool. All right, so we got about a minute and a half until I will start monologuing about the current state of VR gaming, actually. Let me go ahead and get my old headset down so that way I can show it off during the discussion. Why? Do, 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 do. All right, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I'm gonna try and go for about an hour to an hour and a half. I'm gonna try and do a few different topics, but I'm gonna cover the VR topic first, just because nobody's in here yet. And I can pretty much just do a nice ramble on about that without anyone. So, ugh. All right. Let's do this thing then. So recently, I have decided to go down the rabbit hole of a new type of gaming for myself. One that I had been very skeptical of for years because I seen it more as a bunch of mini games that would primarily be directed more at kids or just demo pieces to show what the future of said gaming platform could be. And that platform is actually VR. I recently decided to give VR gaming a try. I actually borrowed a Quest 2 or a Meta Quest 2 for a while, and then went and got a 3 for myself. And that has given me some thoughts so far on the VR gaming industry, the goods and the bad. I'm going to actually forego really discussing much AR. I might have a few remarks on it, but AR is not really my focus. But I have actually really been enjoying VR much more than I thought that I was going to. It does have its issues, but it has been very enjoyable. It's went over a lot of the hurdles that I was worried I was going to see if I decided to go and give it a try, that it was going to be a bunch of small gimmicky games and then VR chat being pretty much the social hub for everybody hanging out in VR. But I'm starting to notice that there are a lot more fun games out there outside of just that small bit. For example, I picked up a new game that just came out called Brazen Blaze, and Brazen Blaze is a fighting game where it's 3v3, but it's very over the top, almost like a hero fighter that you would get from something like Overwatch. Now, is this game perfect? No, but it is the first time that I'm really seeing in VR a game that really brings about what I think would be a great competitive game that's not just a shooter, because for someone like me, I'm not as big on just shooting games. Now, that doesn't mean that there's no guns embrace and blaze. But that's not the focus. You're going and you're punching people, you're jumping out of buildings. It feels like you are a superhero. And that's the type of experience that I really enjoy in VR, because I understand that there's plenty of people that enjoy your Call of Duties, that enjoy all of these different military games, but I actually served in the military and really don't get that same enjoyment that a lot of people do of playing military style video games. So something that goes in plays more into the Super Smash Brothers / anime stylings of what I would enjoy was very nice and a nice surprise, because although we do have other games outside of the military genre, a lot of them are more medieval combat as well. So I'm very happy to see that even natively with the meta, there's a lot of really good games that aren't just demo pieces to show what VR can do. Now, I'm going to try and dive a little bit more really quickly into some of the negatives that I'm seeing when it comes to the VR landscape. And one of the biggest ones is actually this headset right here. Not just this one, but because the two also, this the Meta Quest 2. I don't really think that graphically it is at a place that is going to impress most people to want to draw them into immersive environments that would make people go out and get a headset. Now, you're probably thinking, well, what other headsets are there? Well, you don't need another headset, actually. What you need is what I am currently speaking to you on right now, which is a pretty good gaming PC. And the reason for that is the Meta series of headsets currently are using a chip inside of them that is about the equivalent of a really good cell phone chip. And although you can have really good games on your cell phone, there is a limiter. It's the same problem that we have with Nintendo. When you're developing a game that you're expecting to also play on the Nintendo consoles, you are going to be limited by its hardware, even if you were going to also be putting those games on, let's say, the PlayStation 5. That's what you get when it comes to VR, because not as many companies are going to be making games that are going to be on PC VR with something like Steam, which is where my primary concern is, that if we're having most of the games being made for the Meta Quest series of VR headsets, we are going to be limited to a lot of games that are being capable of played on there, and that's going to keep a lot of people feeling like they do with Nintendo, that, oh, there's not enough hardcore games out there that are going to interest me. And I think that we're about to actually get over that hurdle if you have good enough internet. And that is the thing. We are actually looking right now into a similar thing that Xbox has been doing, what Microsoft has been doing with their Game Pass. And I really love the fact that this is a thing that happens with Game Pass, is you can play a lot of the games on your phone by just streaming directly to it. You can actually just stream from the cloud to your phone right now to play your Xbox Game Pass games. I particularly do it with an Xbox gaming controller. I don't have the mount with me right now, but you put the mount on it and you play your games like this. Fantastic way if you don't have a full-on console, but you have enough money to go and get a controller and you want to play something such as Sea of Thieves. Now, how does that relate to the VR? Well, they're going to have it where you're going to be able to stream the games directly to your VR headset very soon. And what that's going to mean is you are going to be able to do just like you do with your phone and just like you do with some Nintendo games, be able to surpass the capability of what your console is able to do. So let's say that you were wanting to play something like Skyrim VR, a fantastic title that you're probably going to want to mod quite a bit before you play, but you want to play it natively on the Meta. Well, then you might be able to have the capability of streaming it directly onto your headset without the capabilities of the Meta holding that headset back. And that is very exciting, because that could mean that a lot of these companies that are currently being held back by the capabilities of a VR headset, particularly the Meta, can surpass those and move on to being able to play whatever games you want if your internet is good enough. And that is the hang up here, and the hang up with being able to play cloud games from your Xbox is your internet good enough? Now, we're moving forward, of course, with having better internet in different places, but we're still not there yet for everyone. And I feel like that is going to be a big hindrance to a lot of people until we do have high-speed internet pretty much regardless of your location. There's a lot of technologies coming forward to that as well going in the future. I would love to do another video in the future talking about the advances in technology when it comes to internet services, but for now we're just talking about VR. And so yeah, that is a brief look at where we're moving forward in VR, but where are we at right now? Is it time to go and buy yourself a VR headset? I would say yes. This is a fantastic time to get on the ground floor and start to experience and learn and show support for an industry that I think in the next 5 years is going to be huge. And that is a very exciting thing, because the more people that we get onto these platforms, the more that companies are going to see this is an exciting and new thing that we can develop for, that you're not going to be able to get some of the same experiences on a console. And that is what I really enjoy. I am someone that loves the immersion of video games. So going into something like VR chat, and I can go to all of these different worlds for some of my favorite IPs or locations that I could visit that I would never be able to afford normally to go and see. And that is a magical thing, especially when you are going and doing that with friends. That is such a fun experience to me. Now, price-wise, what should you be looking at? And I would never tell someone to go out and spend a ton of money to go and get yourself a VR headset when you don't know if you're going to like it. My first suggestion is find yourself a friend that has a VR headset and go and play with it for an hour or so to see if it's something that is engaging to you, because I don't know if we're at a point now with the technology of VR that it is going to be compatible with everyone's liking. For me, of course it was. Now, price-wise, what should you be looking at? I think that a fantastic jumping on point would be the Meta Quest 2, a fantastic starting headset that's going to run you about $250, but has also been flying off the shelves lately, because you were seeing a lot of people get something for $250, relatively around the same price of getting a Nintendo Switch for their kids for Christmas, birthday, so on and so forth. So yes, the Meta Quest 2 is a fantastic one, but should you get it? Well, are you willing to wait? That's a big question that you have to ask yourself, because if you're willing to wait just a little bit longer, the Meta Quest 3S should be coming out sometime within the next year, which is going to upgrade some of the technology of the 2, but not quite be on the same level of the 3. It'll be a nice middle ground with that same lower price point that is going to put you into the VR space without breaking your bank. Now, are you being held back by going with the 2? The main things that you're going to be missing is the lens types, which admittedly, I do really love the lenses a lot more on the 3, but if you're not willing to dish out the $250, I really think that you're better off probably going with the 2 for now, or if you could wait to go with the 3S, unless you're just someone that wants to go and finds a good plan like I did, to where you can pay a monthly. And that's another thing that I want to address here, is if you do want the 3 and you would much rather go for a payment plan, Meta has released its own payment plan to where you can go and get a monthly subscription to not only getting your Meta Quest 3, but also being able to get 2 years of the Meta Plus, which is their streaming service that comes with 2 new games and a small catalog of games, hopefully will be expanding in the future, as well as 2 years of insurance on your headset, which I think is probably a smart thing, especially if you're getting this for a younger person in the like 8 to 15 range. Definitely make sure that you're getting some form of protection on it. And if you're not, at least make sure that you're getting like a face shield. I even put on my controllers some grips and everything, so that way I'm not just using the little string that normally attaches with the remote. So just a suggestion, go out and get yourself a little bit of protection, because if you're willing to put this much money into a headset, why in the world wouldn't you protect it? That would be insanity to me. So yeah, definitely I think that we're moving in the right direction, but I think that we're not quite to a point yet where it's going to impress a lot of people to drag them in. But if you're somebody that enjoys a lot of gaming and also is a very social person, because VR is a very social thing, go for it. It's fantastic. You can always meet up with some friends on a Friday night to go to a club inside of VR chat, and that's a fantastic thing. Danger Mommy D&D, hi, how's it going? How's it going? We're just discussing right now a little bit of VR gaming in its current state. So yeah, that's a very exciting thing. I personally am going to start having VR related streams on Wednesdays with a few different friends. One of my particular things that I'm looking forward to with this is on Wednesdays going with friends into VR chat and going and playing old school like game shows, because they have recreations of them, and that's just a fun thing to do with friends. I've went in there and had a full game show set that I played Uno in. That's a fun time with friends in a space that you can go and put on some VR, some VTuber models and stuff using technology like that, and it's so exciting. I'm so happy with that I got my VR headset, but I do understand it's not for everyone yet. There is that price hike, but you can still get the 2, you know, so for anybody that watches this later, look at getting the 2 or waiting for the 3S to come out. If you're looking for outside of the Meta catalog though, I'm less familiar with it. I would not suggest getting a PlayStation VR 2 currently. But yeah, how you been? I just decided to come on here, recorded that for a YouTube video, looking for my next topic, because I want to try and like get me 2 or 3 topics recorded today to post up on YouTube, because I took the weekend off after a very, 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 very long week of Gamescom information. I think I don't know how many videos I put out, but it was a lot. It was a lot. But yeah, now that we got VR out of the way, I don't think I had any more specific topics. Oh, I could talk a little bit about my current love for a different social media platform. And this is fun. I've been trying out Threads. It's really fantastic, super clean, no ads, very easy to block stuff that you're not interested in. I've been trying to subtract myself from talking about politics more. I'm trying to chillax myself because I get very worked up over politics. And oh goodness, is my stream frozen? We'll see. It likes to freeze on some platforms for some reason. Hope not. We'll see. I wonder if that happens because of, I don't know what's been going on with this, but our internet has been trash lately. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know who's watching over on this platform, but we good. I don't know what in the world is going on with this thing. Okay, so, oh, there we go. Oh, it's working. Why is it lagging? Okay, I think I know what happened here though. I think it's because I tried to run things at 600. Oh, why in the world do you keep doing that? That's weird. Okay, I am going to call this stream then, because I'm experimenting with some stuff. But yeah, at least I got one good discussion.